If you're looking for an ultimate live streaming studio setup to use at home that includes lighting, audio, a teleprompter, and more, then stick around because in this video I'll show you how I'm using the Rode Streamer X, Elgato Keylight Air, the Sony ZV-E10, and more to achieve this look. This work from home live streaming setup was something I crafted in about an hour, and I'll be sure to link to as many of the products that I used down in the description below. As a quick note, when you buy these items using my link, it helps to support me in running the YouTube channel at no additional cost to you. Whether or not this is the ultimate streaming desk is still up for debate, but I picked through a bunch of items I had at my office to bring home and build out a setup that would take advantage of the loft I have inside my new house. A couple quick notes. One, I will definitely be working to perfect what is in the background of the shot and how it's lit. For now, I'm using some old cameras that belong to my grandfather. And two, my desk came from Facebook Marketplace and the desk hutch was custom made, so if you don't see those listed down below, then you'll know why. Let's begin with the camera setup, and then I'll move on to the lighting, audio, and streaming capture. At the core of this structure is the Ulanzi broadcast stand. It comes with a variety of arms and attachments, and in this particular setup, you'll see that I didn't need to use all of them. It simply clamps to the desk, or in my case, the desk hutch. From here, I'm using one of the arms to hold up my Sony ZV-E10 camera. I'm using the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens for Sony E-mount cameras, and that's how I get that nice out of focus look on my background. Attached to the lens is the DesView T2 teleprompter, and while it's originally made to work with a phone, it fits my Kindle Fire tablet nicely. And with the Prompt Smart app, I can use the voice tracking technology to automatically scroll with my voice. The teleprompter mounts right onto the lens, and the Kindle fits neatly into the clamp. To run the camera without worrying about batteries, I got the MP-FW50 AC power adapter to run the Sony camera indefinitely. On the side of the camera, you can see my microphone and an HDMI cable are connected, but more on that in a little bit. Moving over to lighting, the Elgato Keylight Air was the perfect fit to have a key light and a fill light, allowing me to light both sides of my face. There's an app so I can control everything from my phone and adjust the white balance and brightness as needed. These lights sit right on the tabletop, and you can adjust the height of them too. For audio, I chose the Deity V-Mic D4 Mini, which is mounted onto the boom arm that came with the Ulanzi broadcast stand. I like booming this overhead so it always stays out of the frame and doesn't get in the way while I'm filming. So how is this getting into my computer? The icing on the cake is the new Streamer X by Rode, and to be honest, I'm probably not even using this to its full capability since my microphone is running directly into the camera. The Rode Streamer X is a 4K capture device that allows you to capture a 4K video signal using an HDMI cable. With the ZV-E10 camera, be sure to get a micro to full-size HDMI cable. It's listed below in the description as well. The Streamer X also allows for audio capture and monitoring with the XLR microphone input. So you could use an XLR mic, or it also has a 1/4-inch input and TRRS input depending on your mic of choice. Both video and audio signals run into my computer over a single USB-C cable, which makes life much easier. The Streamer X also has shortcut keypads you can customize and an HDMI loop output, so if you wanted to send your video output to a monitor or any other screen, you totally could. Before I jump into the background, can I ask a quick favor? Hit that subscribe and like button below for me. It really helps me to grow the channel, and it takes 2 seconds on your end, and this way I can show you more cool videos just like this one. For the background, I'm using an IKEA Kallax shelf unit, and I placed a few items on it. I'm hoping to fill this in a bit more in the coming weeks, and to help add a pop of color, I'm using the Govee RGB LED strip lights. They're 16 feet long, and I just taped them to the back of the shelf. I also added in a vintage tripod floor lamp with a color-changing light bulb, also from Govee. I'm using it as a subtle hair light for now, but once I figure out how to better light that back corner, I'll most likely change it up. An honorable mention goes to my Acer 27-inch computer monitor, which I added onto the desk so that I can have a second display when going live. This allows me to see comments coming in or simply to have some notes off to the side when I need them. There's tons of these monitor mounts online, so you can adjust the positioning, and the one I used is from Mount Up. I'll link to it below. I learned a few things in this setup that you might want to be aware of before you run off and start building out everything the same way that I did. And here's a couple lessons before you get started. The first is choose your location wisely. The loft in my house gets hot in the summertime, and as I was building my setup, I had to crank the air conditioning so I wasn't sweating bullets. This also means if you need a fan, be careful how loud it is because your mic might pick it up. Lesson 2 is when it comes to using the desk mount from Ulanzi or even the monitor mount, be aware of how thick your desk is. Since these items clamp onto the desk, you need to make sure that you have a width that fits within the clamp. That's why on my setup, the Ulanzi stand is actually mounted to my desk hutch and not the actual desk, which in reality is a dining table that I repurposed. Most desks should be fine, but just be aware of that. Next up is cable management. There's a lot of things to power, from the computer to the lights, monitor, and Streamer X. You could probably use some zip ties to clean everything up once it's built out. Lastly is how you are going to go about streaming and recording. For my recordings, I'm just using OBS since I can capture 4K footage straight into the computer on my desktop and then edit things later before sending it to YouTube. But the Streamer X is still just a capture device and is not an encoder for live streaming. So if you plan on streaming, I'd recommend using OBS as the encoder or one of my favorites, Restream Studio. Just keep in mind that if you want to be able to screen share or if you're looking for a second camera angle, this capture device most likely is not your ideal option. It only captures one video signal and does not act as a switcher. If you want to switch between multiple cameras, you'll have to look at the Blackmagic ATEMs, or if you use OBS or Restream, you'll still have the ability to share your screen and switch between that and the camera feed from the Streamer X. That's all for my home live stream studio build. I'm looking forward to adding some more lights and improving the appearance in the near future. Let me know down in the comments section below what you think of the setup and how you'd improve it. I'd love to hear your ideas. See you soon.